I've had a lot of great sessions this week, but one of the common themes in the majority of these conversations have been around this feeling of perpetual stuckness. And I know that we've all experienced this, and me too. This is something that hits me really personally. And when you feel that you have to fix yourself, this is where all of that stuck energy is coming from. So I just want to have a conversation with you guys about this in order to help you understand it better. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you love what we do here, if you love my content. And let's get into this video. So, I want you guys to understand that you are not stuck because life is against you. You are stuck because you refuse to abandon who you've been. And the key here is you don't fix the old you leave it behind. But here's the problem: most people are terrified to do this. Instead of claiming something greater, they try to tweak, fix, and perfect the self they've outgrown. They manifest out of fear, trying to fix the old man, not realizing that version of them was never meant to evolve. It exists at a certain level of awareness, and it will never take you higher. Neville has a quote where he says, "I must nail myself to something greater than me." That means you must die to the old self and claim something higher, but not in a linear, step by step way, but in an instant by choosing to identify as your highest self now. So, I want to talk about this fear that we have of abandoning the old self. And let's be real, why is it so hard for you to let go of the old you? Because deep down, you fear losing control. You fear the unknown. You fear that if you let go of this identity, the one that you've carried for years, you'll have nothing left. So instead of shifting, you try to improve what was never meant to be saved. You try to turn the old self into the new self, but that's not how this works. You don't upgrade the old version of you. You step into a completely different one. And the trap of fixing the old self, let's talk about it from an analogy perspective. This was one I was thinking about this morning when I woke up. So think of it this way: imagine you're in a room, the walls are blue, the furniture is blue, even the ceiling is blue, but you decided you don't like this room. And now you decide you want a red room instead. But what do most people do? They grab a paintbrush and start layering red paint over the blue. But no matter how much red you add, the blue still seeps through. You keep repainting, keep touching it up, keep fixing, but deep down, it's still the same blue room. This is exactly what happens when you try to fix yourself instead of stepping into a new self concept. You're living in the same old room and just dressing it up differently, patching it up, having all these things that you need to fix around it and all the little repairs you have to do. And what if instead of repainting, you simply walked into a new room, one that was already red? And that's how identity shifts work. Again, you don't change the old you step into a new self that has always existed at a higher level of consciousness. And this is something that I want you guys to really understand about all of this, about identity shifting. The biggest trap that there is judging your old self. You think once I fix my insecurities, once I heal more, once I'm perfect, then I'll be ready to manifest my desires. But that is a lie. Your old self isn't wrong, it isn't broken. In fact, it is so perfect for the level of awareness it exists in. But just like a character in a movie can't rewrite its own script, the version of you who struggles will never be the one who thrives. It simply doesn't have the consciousness to do so. And if you stay in that identity, you will keep manifesting from fear. You will keep trying to fix yourself instead of choosing something higher. And you will keep experiencing the same cycles because consciousness is the only reality, you guys. So let's talk about shifting to a higher state of consciousness. So, what is the way out? Again, you must nail yourself to something greater. You must decide right now that you are no longer that old self, not after you heal more, not after you feel ready, but right now. So, Neville has two quotes I want to talk about. He says, Man's chief delusion is his conviction that there are causes other than his own state of consciousness. That means your reality is not shaped by effort, it is shaped by the self you are conscious of being. And the reason we're talking about reaching this higher level of consciousness is because your concept of yourself can only be driven out of consciousness by another concept of yourself. And this concept, this new concept of yourself, must be greater than the current circumstances, not in this linear fashion where you're trying to adjust the pieces and switch them around. It needs to be a higher level of consciousness instead of having this linear way of thinking, right? So here's what keeps people stuck. They think they have to move through their circumstances in this linear way, step by step, fixing one thing at a time. But the more you focus on changing circumstances, the more real they seem, the more they harden into fact. And this is why people get exhausted trying to fix their reality and they give up and they think manifestation just doesn't work and I can never get what I want, the sob stories, the victim mentalities, because they are still identifying with a version of themselves who has problems to solve. But the truth is, you don't change the circumstances, you guys, you rise above them. Because in higher states of consciousness, lack does not exist. The moment you shift, the old problems that you think that you have dissolve, not because you fixed them, but because they no longer belong to the version of you that you are now conscious of being. This is why we move higher in consciousness, and you're only going to drive out that or other conscious state by this new consciousness, because when you move higher in consciousness, that lack, those problems don't exist for that new version of you. All right, so this is why things effortlessly unfold when you shift your identity, because you no longer operate from struggle, you operate from certainty. And if you are conscious of lack, of course, you will manifest more lack. If you're conscious of struggle, you will manifest struggle. But the moment you identify as the version of you who already has what you desire, everything shifts. So let's talk about choosing from a higher perspective. And let me ask you, what are you nailing yourself to? Are you still identifying with fear, doubt, limitation, separation from all of that you desire to be, separated from your center, from that feeling of that you are pure consciousness? Or are you willing to claim something greater? Because the moment you decide that you are one with God and have always been, when you turn to God, one with the highest version of yourself, everything that once was a struggle dissolves. You stop asking, how do I fix myself? And instead say, I am already whole. You stop manifesting out of fear and start choosing from a place of power. And the best part, you don't have to become this version. You only have to choose it. This is why we say manifestation is a choice, right? So tell me, what are you stepping into today? Let's declare it in the comments. Get down in the comments and tell me, because the more that you claim it, the more real it becomes. And if this resonated with you, I definitely want you to like this, share this with someone who you know needs it, someone that's struggling with understanding self concept and really rising in this higher level of consciousness and not in this linear 3D perspective, right? And make sure you subscribe for more deep transformation. You're not waiting on the new self, you guys. You are the new self. But the question is, are you ready to see it? All right. So I'm going to leave this video here for you guys. I intend that it really assisted you in some way. Definitely let me know your thoughts, your feelings about it. And yeah, you guys, I want to say that we have 2 more seats open for my Money Magic Masterclass in March, and I think we have 4 seats left for the Revision Masterclass. Both of those are in March. Make sure you join us. It's going to be a vibe just like the SP Masterclasses have been. And we have so many success stories that I'm going to be bringing to you from that masterclass. So make sure you join me. And thank you to everyone who has downloaded my self inquiry audio called Unravel. It has been amazing, and I'm glad that it's assisting everyone. So you can get all of those down in the description box below, plus one on one sessions with yours truly. And remember, you guys, get down in the comments and say it with me. Imagination is always on your side. And don't forget that I am too. All right. Bye.